Yo, I'm gonna tell you something you probably don't want to hear. I know what you're thinking. That's what you said last week, right? It's all good, but hey guys, relationships are not 50-50, y'all. I hate to break it to you, but they're not. Yo, what's going on, my beautiful people? It's Joe the Juggernaut back with you today for another episode of Talk About It Tuesday, where we talk about anything and everything under the sun, whether it be controversial, whether it be contributing to the conversation, making somebody better, self-help, anything you want to talk about. That's what we're here to do. On today's episode of Talk About It Tuesday, I don't think relationships are 50-50. And I don't think that they should be either. Well, let me take that back. In most cases, they probably shouldn't be 50-50. Again, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a certified professional, anything like that. I'm just sharing with you my perspective. Whatever I say on this channel, again, is just my personal advice. I am not trying to sway you in any way, shape, or form, nor am I saying that one size fits all. I need you guys to remember that. My advice is not one size fits all. Every relationship is unique, every individual is unique, every situation is different. So, with that in mind, my personal perspective, relationships are not 50-50. Case in point, I just recovered from COVID. I would have loved to have put a little bit more work in this week, get ahead in some of my things that I was doing, and be at my daughter's first track meet. But unfortunately, I wasn't. I got COVID. I was hanging out with some friends on Sunday. Sunday night, I started to feel a little bad. Little congestion, little itch in my throat. Didn't think nothing of it. And then all of a sudden, I woke up in the morning and I was super congested. Body was starting to ache a little bit. Again, didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. I thought, well, there's a cold front that just blew in a lot of crazy stuff. Maybe that's what it is. So probably around 2 in the afternoon, when I was getting ready to start planning the rest of my evening, which is taking my daughter to practice, picking up the kids and baby from school and daycare. I said, you know what? I feel a little flush. Let me get myself checked out. Let me see what's going on, just in case. Check my temperature. Sure enough, had 100-degree temperature. And obviously the other symptoms that I mentioned, cough, congestion, all that good stuff, or bad stuff, should I say. So I texted my wife, and my wife said, hey, babe, you need to take a COVID test. We had a couple at-home COVID tests, so I decided to go ahead and take one. 15 minutes later, don't you know?
Guess what, bitch? Coronavirus!
Yeah, I was positive. Fortunate enough for me that my symptoms weren't too drastic. And I say that in perspective that some people end up in the hospital, some people end up in the ICU, and some people don't even make it out, right? So I did have body aches, I did have fever, I did have congestion, cough. Didn't lose my sense of taste or smell, luckily, because I can't do without food. I'm fat for a reason, bro. But yeah, so fortunately for me, symptoms were pretty mild. I ended up quarantining here in my office. I stayed in here, set up an air mattress, and everybody, or at least my wife, came in. She was, masked up, spraying Lysol on the way in and bringing me whatever I needed, my food, my water, all that good stuff. The only time I really left my office was to go to the bathroom. She had to pick up all the slack at home, and so I'm a very involved parent. I do a lot of stuff. I'm also, I wouldn't say a clean freak, but there's a lot of stuff in the house that I have to have pretty organized. You can call it OCD, call it what you want. And so I constantly take care of that stuff. And not to say that, again, my wife doesn't, but we all have different priorities. This is going back to the topic that not everything's 50-50, and there's a reason behind that. What I see value in, and what I see chaos, and what I see that's important, may not be what my wife sees as value, chaos, disorganization, important, all that good stuff. And so that's why I say that there really can't be 50-50. She had to pick up all the slack. She was, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to take my oldest to track practice. Then she had to get my other daughter to school by 7:30 in the morning. All the while the baby's kind of like mixed in the shuffle. Sometimes he wakes up, sometimes he doesn't. And if he did wake up, I wouldn't be able to tend to him. So either way, she kind of had to put him in the car seat, take him with her to different trips, wherever she was going, track practice, school, whatever the case may be, get him ready, get his bottles ready, make dinner, breakfast, whatever, wash dishes, clean up around the house. and it was a lot. It's a lot for both of us. I can't imagine how much it was just on her. So I feel a little guilty because I'm sitting in here just laid up watching TV while she's doing all kind of things around the house, and pretty much exhausted. I could definitely see it in her face that she was exhausted.
Little help. Little help now.
There's no 50-50 there, right? She's got to pick it up. She's got to do 100% of all the work, all the time. I'm just now to the point where I can kind of get out of the house. I'm not contagious anymore. And so, we're back to kind of our normal routine, but it's 100% and 0%, right? So there is no 50-50 there. And yeah, that is a little bit of a unique situation, but you guys got to understand that your significant other, again, may not see things the way you see them. I talked about that a little bit in my last conversation, where we as men tend to insert ourselves in conversations, try to give good advice or fix things, if you will. And it doesn't always come off as we are helping. It comes off as we're intruding or that we're dismissing feelings. Sometimes it is received well, right? But it all just depends on the person and their individual characteristics and what they value. Shout out to Marcos down there in my last video, where he did mention maybe talking about the 5 love languages, which will be a future topic. I'll talk about it Tuesday, but this is kind of getting to that a little bit. I have OCD in some things, right? And it's not necessarily OCD. It's just that's a priority for me, and it is important, right? That's something that I value. For example, when I do laundry, my closet is very organized. My shoes are all still in the shoe boxes. My clothes go from like my workout clothes, and then it goes to like my tank tops, t-shirts, V-necks, short sleeve button up, long sleeve button up, winter stuff, sweaters, all that stuff. Pants do the same thing down on the bottom. I have my shorts, my casual shorts, so just like khaki shorts, things like that. Then I go into like my jeans, and then it goes into my nicer going out jeans. And then khakis, and then dress pants, right? So everything is pretty organized, and that I see as value. My shirts all face to the left, and so when I'm looking at my closet, if I'm sifting through my clothes, I see the front of the shirt every single time. I do this for me because a lot of you guys don't know this, but I'm a business consultant at work. I work on process efficiency, so making things as efficient as possible. It's just a mindset that I have, and that's one of the things that I do. I have that organized in a certain way because I know that if I'm going to a certain place, and I'll probably wear a V-neck to that, or I'll probably wear a short sleeve button up, or hey, it's a little bit more formal, let me do a long sleeve button up. And I know exactly where to find that stuff. Like, there is no sifting through my closet looking for stuff all the time, and I don't have to flip clothes back and forth to say, all right, what does the front of this shirt say, or what is it, which t-shirt is this? Everything is all facing the same direction. And so my wife sees that as OCD, or that used to living by myself, or I'm an only child. And to no fault of her, she does have a sibling. And she's one of those people that's organized by chaos. Her closet, her side is total just crazy. I couldn't deal with it personally. I've organized it a couple times for her, and then within a couple of days, it's back to normal. So I stopped, right? But that's not something she places value in. Now, when she does laundry, she does make an effort to kind of meet where I want to be, but she doesn't quite understand it. For that reason, I do the laundry. I usually do all the laundry for the most part. She will organize and sort out the baby's clothes, and then sometimes, like I said, she does do the laundry. But for the most part, I would say 90% of the time, I do the laundry. I am sorting it, I am washing it, I am folding it, I'm putting it on hangers. And again, she kind of helps out hang stuff up. That's not 50-50. It's not, well, I did the laundry this week, you did the laundry next week, or you do it next week. Like, that's not realistic for us. And reason being is it's my personal preference. Like, I want my clothes that way. And if it's too much trouble, or you don't necessarily see the value in doing it the way I do it, and it's not going to get done the way I want, I'd rather just do it myself. And again, no harm, no foul. We're not sitting here nitpicking, and I don't ever bring it up to her and say, well, I have to do all the laundry because you don't do it my way. Like, that's not how it works, guys. Like, if you place certain value in something and your partner doesn't necessarily understand that, as long as they're making an effort, you can't really fault them for it, right? She has made an effort, but I think it's a lot easier and a lot more efficient for me to do it because I know how I like it done, and I don't have to rework anything. I don't have to do anything over that she did that I don't like, right? So laundry is not 50-50. Cooking is not 50-50. I love to cook. I absolutely love cooking. But my wife does most of the cooking. You know, she will prepare meals even if she gets home from a long day at work. Same thing for me. Like I'm working, I go watch the baby, right? And she's not throwing in my face, well, I had to make dinner 6 times this week. Like she doesn't do that, right? Because that's her part. That's what she kind of prefers to do, because I don't necessarily prepare meals sometimes the way that she wants them. I'm not a big fan of salt. And when I make spaghetti, I tend to undersalt it. It's under seasoned. Sorry. But that's just me. She will make it perfect every single time, right? And so there's a lot of times where she's just, I'm going to do it. Like, I'll make it. I'll do it, because she doesn't want to have to deal with having to fix the meal after it's already prepared. And again, she appreciates my effort in doing stuff that, she would normally do. But that's not 50-50, right? She's cooking more often than I am. She doesn't do anything outside. Like, I cut the grass, I'm doing whatever I need to do outside, picking up dog poop, because we have 2 dogs, 2 Westies. And I do pretty much everything outside. She's either watching a baby or doing something inside. So there is nothing that's necessarily 50-50 for us. And it's never a topic of argument or anything like that. And I need you guys to kind of think about that with your significant others, because I do know quite a few of you out there that have that mentality where, well, if I got to watch the kids, for 3 hours, and you got to watch the kids for 3 hours, and it's not fair because you did this and I did that, and why should I have to do this if you're not doing it? How do you expect to have a cohesive partnership with somebody if you can't just trust that things are balanced out? Now, listen, I'm not saying that you can't be taken advantage of. Yes, that is possible, but you also have to kind of take a step back and assess your situation and determine, like, am I really getting taken advantage of? Like, if you are absolutely doing everything all the time and your significant other doesn't do anything at all and just reaps the benefits of all your efforts, number one, what I encourage you to do is get a different perspective. Ask someone around you to be a silent observer, whatever the case may be, or just give you their honest feedback. Ask somebody that's not like a buddy of yours that's going to just tell you what you want to hear. Somebody that is going to be very objective about this situation. Just get a different perspective, right? Understand, is it really me, or am I telling myself a story? One situation happens, it fits your narrative, right? And then another situation happens, it fits your narrative. You tailor it to fit your narrative, so you're telling yourself a story of something that's actually happening, but it's not. So encourage you to get some feedback from one of your friends, family members, or whatever, and just say, like, hey, am I crazy? Or is this really happening? Number two, person tells you that they agree that you do a brunt load of the work, then that means you have to open up line of communication with your partner. Like, you got to talk about that stuff, and it really does have to be balanced out. My point is that you can't walk around with the mentality that every task has to be 50-50. Every task is divided amongst time, hours, and effort, because you'll never have a cohesive partnership like that. If you look at any sports team, if you look at any successful work team that you've ever been around, or even a school project, anything like that, if you look at a successful one, not just one that got by, but a successful one, you will really recognize that each team is great because they are complementary. If they all did the same thing really well, they would have a huge gap, right? Like, there'd be a bunch of stuff that they do really well, and then the other half of the stuff that doesn't get done at all, because nobody can do it, or nobody is well at it, right? And so when you look at your partnership with your significant other, you got to think about that, like, because as a unit, it really depends. That's what depends on your success, right? Is, can you do stuff together? Not, can you split everything 50-50? Doesn't work, If that were the case, when you guys pay bills, and this is probably another topic of conversation, when you guys pay bills, you would say, well, the light bill's $200. I'm going to pay $100. You pay $100. Some of you get by doing that. We do not. We pool our money together. All the bills get paid. Whatever money is left over, that's our spending money. Obviously putting away whatever to savings, but that's our spending money. And we don't sit here and say, well, $75 of mine went into the spending money and you only had 25, so you can only spend 25. Like, if you don't look at your finances that way, why would you look at anything else around the house that way? If it really bothers you and you feel that overall there is an imbalance in a relationship, then talk about it, right? Open that conversation up. But you also have to kind of sit back and like I said, assess your situation and say, hey, are there things that my partner does more than I do? And are there things that I do more than they do? And if it does, and if there is, then great. Maybe you do have the perfect balance, right? But don't sit here and blame your partner for not doing one of your tasks or a task equally as much as you. For some of you, that might work. Kudos to you, right? For us, I just don't see it. It doesn't make any sense. All it does, I see, is start arguments. Because then you're sitting here knick-knacking your time. Like, why would you do that? Like, you're not my boss. You're my partner. We're in this together. And again, as long as we both succeed, you eat, I eat, we eat. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I hope you appreciated today's segment. So I know the original intent of Joe the Juggernaut, the channel, was talking about fitness, wellness, joining the military, all that good stuff. I've kind of found a little bit of passion in talking about just everyday things like this. And I know a lot of my friends and family, and we get together, we start having these conversations. They appreciate my perspective. I hope you did today. So I'm thinking about doing this as a podcast so that some of you can kind of just listen on the go. You don't have to sit here and watch me talking. I know I ain't the prettiest face in the world. I know you'd probably enjoy talking about some of this stuff or just listening to it and then contributing in a different way. So let me know what you think below about today's topic. Do you think relationships are 50-50? Is your relationship 50-50? And do you think this would be better suited in the podcast? Appreciate you joining me today, guys. Peace.